Stoicism begins with a daunting demand. The wise man, the good man, the philosopher must live in accordance with nature. He is unafraid of pain, death, poverty, or the ever-shifting storms of human existence. His only fear? To betray his moral responsibility, to fall short of being fully human. Among the many voices who carried this torch, none shines brighter than Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, philosopher, and reluctant ruler of the known world. His words, preserved in meditations, still haunt us today. They whisper a chilling challenge. What if greatness isn't about glory or power, but about resisting every temptation and living virtuously when nothing forces you to? In a time when emperors drowned themselves in wine, lust, and excess, Marcus quietly wrote about self-restraint, discipline, and the fragile thread of human goodness. And perhaps that is why his story matters now more than ever. Like and subscribe if you enjoy our content, so you get more of it, and let's jump in. Marcus Aurelius ruled from 161 to 180 AD during the final stretch of the Pax Romana, an age of peace that ended with his death. As emperor, Marcus was not merely powerful, he was, to the Roman mind, practically the ruler of the world. And with that came temptations no mortal should resist. The emperor's life was synonymous with hedonism, a stage where every vice was not just accessible, but expected. Wine, wealth, flesh, and indulgence were not luxuries but obligations. Any other ruler would have bathed in excess, shielded by the certainty that no law, no God, and no man could restrain him. Yet Marcus chose another path. Against the tide of absolute freedom, he chose chains of virtue. For 19 long years, day after day, he faced limitless fantasies and answered them with restraint. Not once, but constantly. His greatness lies not in ruling Rome, but in ruling himself. Meditations is not a book written for the world. It was Marcus's journal, his private whisperings to himself, a raw and vulnerable dialogue between a man and his conscience. It had no title, no structure, no intention of publication. And yet, from these scattered reflections emerges one of history's most piercing works of philosophy. Here, Marcus is not emperor, not icon, but human, uncertain, questioning, reminding himself daily not to give in, not to falter. He urged himself to live by nature, to fulfill his human duty as trees grow and caterpillars transform, not for praise, but because that is what they are made to do. Humanity's purpose, he insisted, was not wealth, not fame, but the simple, relentless striving to become the most virtuous self possible. To abandon that responsibility was the true failure of life. And so, in secrecy, he charted the map of human greatness. Marcus knew emperors could not live in isolation. He faced corruption, betrayal, and the endless parade of human flaws. To him, these people were like thorns on a vine, inseparable from life itself. Asking the world to be free of them was foolish. Instead, Marcus reminded himself, even the wicked act from ignorance, not malice. He urged himself not to judge, for he too had faults. Perhaps on another day, in another light, he might be the ignorant one. Even those who seem evil may only be misunderstood, like a thief feeding his family. The Stoic response was not outrage, but humility, endurance, and compassion. Humans, Marcus wrote, are born for each other as trees bear fruit for animals. Our duty is to help one another, not because it is convenient, but because it is the natural order of things. Life did not spare Marcus its blows. He lost children, fought wars, and endured plagues, yet he saw all adversity as inevitable. To pray for an easy life was to him childish. Pain, loss, and disaster were written into the human condition. What mattered was not what struck you, but how you bore it. Don't complain, he told himself. Endure. Misfortune was not punishment, but a forge in which character was tested. Even the unbearable was not an excuse, for all men die, but not all men die complaining. In hardship, Marcus saw opportunity to persist, to rise, to demonstrate bravery. Adversity was not the enemy, but the raw material from which greatness was carved. Though emperor of immense wealth, Marcus was wary of possessions. He did not despise them, but he treated them as fragile illusions. "Enjoy what you have," he wrote, "but never cling so tightly that their loss destroys you. Virtue, not riches, was the measure of a man." And above all, Marcus pondered death. To him, mortality was not tragedy, but duty, as natural as a tree dropping its leaves. Why fear what is inevitable? Live well, then die, for both are part of nature's design. Stoicism's ultimate lesson rests here. Pleasure fades, but happiness, true happiness, comes only from living virtuously, fulfilling the role that nature carved into you. To fail in this, to abandon your duty to yourself, was the only real tragedy. All else, even death, was nothing to fear. Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics remind us of a terrifying truth. Greatness is not about power, wealth, or recognition. It is about resisting the abyss within, the endless temptations, fears, and excuses. It is about living by nature, serving others, and rising through adversity without complaint. Death will claim us all, and fortune will desert us, but our duty remains. To betray it is to betray ourselves. To fulfill it is to become, as Marcus urged, fully human. And in a world obsessed with pleasure and distraction, perhaps this is the lesson we most desperately need. That true happiness is not found outside us, but within. Thanks for listening.